Earlier tonight, Norah O'Donnell signed off as anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News, bringing an end to her 5-year run as she begins her new role as senior correspondent.
Norah O'Donnell is making headlines once again, but this time, it's not for her usual political comments. The shocking news of her tragic diagnosis has left her family with an unimaginable reality. For years, Norah has been a trusted CBS News anchor, delivering the most important stories. But now, everything has changed. Her diagnosis has turned her world upside down. Although her family has been by her side, they knew they had to prepare for what is ahead. But how did this sudden turn of events come about? And what does it mean for Norah's future? Join us as we uncover the shocking story behind Norah O'Donnell's diagnosis. Norah O'Donnell's tragic diagnosis. Recently, Norah had been diagnosed with melanoma in situ, a medical condition that sounded strange but was serious. She was still coming to terms with the diagnosis and the implications. Doctors told her that melanoma was the most aggressive form of skin cancer and that early detection was the only way to stop it. Although hers had been caught early, the fear of what could happen if it progressed never left her. She had come face to face with the idea that her life could change in an instant. But little did she know, this was only the beginning of a long journey. Stay tuned to know how it all began. The emotional journey began with her family doing their best to stay strong for her. Her husband, who had always been her biggest supporter, found himself lost in emotions he never expected to feel. Her children, still too young to understand everything, sensed that something was wrong, but could not fully grasp the weight of it. Friends and colleagues at CBS News, who had admired her for years, were saddened by the news. They had seen her handle tough stories, but now she was the one in need of strength. The reality of her diagnosis left everyone searching for the right words to say. Still, nothing could erase the fear she felt after hearing the word cancer. It was a word that carried so much weight, and she struggled to process it. Melanoma was not like other skin conditions. It could spread quickly and become deadly if ignored. In one of her interviews, Norah had admitted that the statistics were scaring, and she found herself reading article after article, trying to understand her condition. She went on to narrate how every detail made her even more anxious.
I changed my mind. I said, it's okay to just walk for 10 minutes. That counts as a workout in my book.
What if the doctors had not found it in time? What if it had spread before they even knew it was there? The thought alone was terrifying. And for the first time in her life, she felt completely powerless. With no choice but to act fast, she prepared for surgery, hoping to remove the cancer before it became worse. The experience was overwhelming. Norah has openly shared her experiences with the surgeries. She described the procedure as involving a 3-inch cut and about 25 stitches. Although the surgery was successful, it left her feeling different. The physical pain faded, but the emotional weight of what had happened stayed with her. She had won the battle, but she now understood that life could change at any time. And then, the world found out. News of her diagnosis spread, with media outlets covering her health battle. Some reports were accurate, while others exaggerated details, making it seem worse than it was. People sent messages of support, while others shared their own cancer scares. But Norah did not want sympathy. She obviously wanted people to understand the risks. She had once ignored her own warning signs, and now she wanted to make sure no one else did the same. But that's not all. She also recounted how her family remained her biggest source of strength. Her husband took on more responsibilities, making sure she had the time and space to recover. Even her colleagues at CBS News gave their support. Surprisingly, Norah had admitted to being ashamed after being diagnosed. She believed she had done it to herself. Although many are familiar with Norah's skin cancer diagnosis and treatment, not everyone knows that she faced another serious health complication shortly after her surgery. During a spring break trip, O'Donnell faced an unexpected health scare that led to an emergency appendectomy. She shared her journey on social media, posting a photo from her hospital bed with the caption, "Not what we planned for spring break." Following the surgery, she expressed gratitude for the medical team's care and shared valuable lessons from the experience.
This instrument can teach. Humans are determined to use it to those ends.
Norah stressed the importance of being attentive to one's health. In her viral comment, she advised everyone who feels pain to see a doctor immediately without hesitating. After facing such health challenges, Norah's life changed in many ways. The journey through her diagnosis and recovery sparked a change in her perspective on what truly matters. While many knew about her health battles, few understood the deeper personal transformations she underwent. Her story didn't just end with recovery. There were lasting effects that influenced her choices and priorities moving forward. What did life look like for Norah after all of these challenges? Let's take a look at how her experiences shaped the next chapter of her life. Norah's life after the tragic diagnosis. Norah O'Donnell's melanoma diagnosis was unexpected, but instead of keeping it private, she decided to share her story. As a journalist, she knew how powerful information could be.
I'm proud of that people feel like they can trust me. It's my job as a journalist to do that.
And this time, the story was personal. She wanted people to learn from her experience and take skin cancer seriously. She started speaking out about the importance of regular checkups and early detection. At first, it wasn't easy to talk about. She was used to asking tough questions, not answering them. But she knew that staying silent wouldn't help anyone. She partnered with the Melanoma Research Foundation to spread awareness. Together, they worked on campaigns to encourage people to check their skin regularly. She appeared on TV to discuss her journey, hoping that her story would inspire others to take action. Every time she spoke, she hoped someone watching would make an appointment with their doctor. Norah didn't just talk about it. She made big changes in her life. After her diagnosis, she made sure to see her dermatologist every 3 to 4 months. These regular checkups became a priority. Melanoma can spread quickly, so treating it early was the best way to stay safe. This wasn't just about her health anymore. It was about setting an example for others. She also advocated for the use of sunscreen protection. Sunscreen wasn't just something she used at the beach. It became part of her daily routine. But it wasn't just about her. She made sure her family followed these habits too. She wanted them to understand that prevention was the key to staying safe. More than anything, this experience changed how she saw life. It was a wake-up call. She realized that health isn't something to take for granted. Before, she had always been focused on work and deadlines, but now she paid more attention to the little things. Time with family became more important. Norah revealed her time with her family changed. Sitting down for breakfast with her kids, going on evening walks. Conversations in her home changed too. According to her, health became a big topic. She encouraged her family to get checkups and watch for any warning signs. Despite everything, she never stepped away from her job. As the anchor of CBS Evening News, she continued delivering the news with the same dedication.
I'm Norah O'Donnell. Thank you for joining us tonight. There's a great legacy here at CBS News.
But she knew she had to find a better balance. Journalism is fast-paced, but she couldn't ignore her health. She made sure to schedule doctor visits, eat healthier, and rest when needed. Her diagnosis also changed the way she approached news stories. She had always been a dedicated journalist, but now health stories felt personal. When reporting on cancer research or medical advancements, she brought a deeper understanding. She knew what it was like to face a diagnosis, and she wanted her reports to reflect the emotions and fears that patients go through. But one of the most important things she did was encourage early detection. She was lucky her melanoma was detected early, and she wanted others to have that same chance. She didn't just tell people to get checked, she showed them why it was important. She hoped to remove some of the fear around cancer screenings by sharing her experience. From the diagnosis to the surgery, she wanted people to see that taking care of their health wasn't scary. Even after recovering, she stayed careful. Melanoma survivors have a higher risk of it returning, so she kept up with some medical commitments. This wasn't something she could ignore, but she didn't see it as a burden. Instead of letting her diagnosis define her, she turned it into something positive. Even with all these health challenges, Norah remained dedicated to her work. Despite the difficulties, she returned to her career. Norah is often admired for her professionalism and commitment to her work. But how has Norah's career evolved over the years, especially after overcoming such health challenges? Stay tuned to know more about her career. Norah O'Donnell's career. It all started in 1996 when Norah O'Donnell took her first steps into journalism. She had just finished school at Georgetown University when she got a job as a staff writer for NBC News' Weekend Today. The news world was fast-moving and she had to keep up. She spent hours researching, writing, and learning how to report stories for TV. It was a tough job, but she was quick to prove that she had a sharp mind and a strong work ethic. But that was just the beginning. As she improved, new doors opened. That same year, she joined MSNBC as a commentator and analyst. She worked there from 1996 to 2003, covering politics and major events.
What political party, no matter what stripe, that is what we do, and we try and further understand.
Her ability to explain complex news in a simple way made her stand out. People trusted her because she didn't just report the news, she explained why it mattered. Before long, her efforts paid off. In 1999, she became NBC News White House correspondent.
We'll never forget this day. It was such a pleasure to have that I would become the new anchor.
One of the most important roles in journalism. She covered the last years of Bill Clinton's presidency and then George W. Bush's time in office.
We visited with former President George W. Bush. He told us what he'd do about the crisis if he were still president.
She reported on major events like Clinton's impeachment trial and the 2000 election dispute between Bush and Al Gore. Then came the 9/11 attacks, and her job became even more important. The nation was in crisis, and she had to bring clear and accurate information to the public.
One of the saddest days in the history of our country strikes at the core of our American democracy.
And then, a new challenge came her way. In 2003, she became NBC News congressional correspondent. This role placed her in the center of Washington, where laws were made and political battles were fought. She covered debates on the Iraq War, healthcare, and other major issues. It was a demanding job, but she stayed focused, determined to bring honest reporting to the audience. But her rise didn't stop there. In 2005, she took on a bigger role as MSNBC's chief Washington correspondent. This was a turning point in her career. Norah wasn't just reporting news anymore, she was leading discussions and setting the tone for political coverage. She covered presidential elections, interviewed top leaders, and explained policies that shaped the country. Her ability to stay calm under pressure and ask tough but fair questions made her one of the most trusted names in news. With each step forward, she became more respected. In 2012, she joined CBS News as a co-anchor on CBS This Morning. This was a big move. Morning shows were different from political reporting. There were more interviews, in-depth discussions, and a mix of hard news and human interest stories. But she adapted quickly, bringing her sharp analysis and strong storytelling skills to the program. Viewers connected with her, and her reputation grew even stronger. But her biggest achievement came in 2019. CBS made her the anchor and managing editor of CBS Evening News, one of the most respected news programs in the country. This was a historic moment. Norah became only the third woman to ever lead a major network evening news broadcast on her own. Millions of people watched her every night as she delivered the biggest stories from around the world. Whether reporting on war, politics, or major global events, she handled it all with confidence and professionalism. And she didn't stop there. She became a contributor to 60 Minutes.
We had two traditions in my house, church and 60 Minutes.
One of the most well-known investigative news shows. This gave her the chance to dive deeper into important stories. She covered topics like national security, science breakthroughs, and major global issues. Her ability to uncover new information and tell powerful stories made her reports stand out. Not only that, but she also stepped into the world of podcasting. She started Better Together with Norah O'Donnell, a CBS News podcast where she talked to successful people about leadership, hard work, and personal growth. The podcast allowed her to connect with audiences in a different way, sharing conversations that inspired and informed. And through all of this, her hard work was recognized. She won multiple Emmy Awards for her reporting, proving that she was one of the best in her field. Her career is far from over. She also ventured into other fields outside journalism, expanding her skills and influence even further. Apart from her successful career in journalism, Norah O'Donnell has explored other interests that reflect her passion for learning and leadership. But first, her work as an author gave people a closer look into her personal life. She co-authored Baby Love, Healthy, Easy, Delicious Meals for Your Baby and Toddler with her husband, Chef Jeff Tracy. Published in 2010, this book provides simple, nutritious recipes to help parents prepare healthy meals for their young children. Drawing from their own experiences as parents, O'Donnell and Tracy created a guide filled with practical advice and easy-to-follow meal ideas. The book was well received by parents looking for healthier food options for their babies. Additionally, in 2023, a biography titled Norah O'Donnell, Breaking News and Shattering Ceilings by Elias Grayson was published, detailing her remarkable career and achievements. And yet her impact did not stop there. She has always been passionate about helping others, using her influence to support important causes. One of her biggest roles is serving on the board of directors at Georgetown University, the school where she earned her degrees. Studying at Georgetown played a big role in shaping her views, and now, she gives back by helping to make decisions that affect students and the school's future. It is a special moment for her. Norah was once a student, now a leader helping the next generation. But her charity work goes beyond education. She also supports Catholic Charities, an organization that helps struggling families by providing food and shelter. She does more than just donations. She uses her voice to bring attention to important issues, making sure more people are aware of the help that is needed. She believes that having a public platform means having a responsibility to make a difference, and she takes that seriously. And then, there is her work as a public speaker. She has spoken at events, universities, and conferences, inspiring people with her words. As a motivational speaker, she talks about topics like women's empowerment, leadership, and work-life balance. She shares her own experiences in journalism, explaining how she overcame challenges in a male-dominated industry. She encourages women to be bold, take leadership roles, and never let fear hold them back. But beyond motivation, she also speaks about leadership. She believes leadership is not just about giving orders, it is about honesty and lifting others up. She shares how great leaders create opportunities for others, just as she has done by mentoring young journalists. She wants people to understand that leadership is about making a positive impact, no matter the industry. Despite her impressive career, Norah O'Donnell has faced her fair share of challenges along the way. Let's find out some of the challenges. Challenges in Norah O'Donnell's career. From the start of her career, O'Donnell faced challenges in a field mostly run by men. Even though she worked hard and showed her talent, she experienced unfair treatment. She often felt that her opinions were not taken seriously and her abilities were questioned, while her male colleagues were treated with more respect. It was not just about being left out of important conversations. It was the feeling of constantly having to prove herself. People would judge her for her looks instead of her work, and that made things harder. But she did not stay silent. She spoke up about the unfairness and pushed for more equality in journalism. Even as she became more successful, she continued to share her experiences and support other women in the newsroom. At the same time, she had to balance her busy career with her role as a mother. Journalism is not a regular 9-to-5 job. It demands long hours, unexpected travel, and being available at any moment. This made it hard for her to be there for her children as much as she wanted. She missed special family moments and felt guilty about it. There were times she wondered if she was doing enough as a mother, but she also knew she was showing her children the value of hard work and passion. Through careful planning and a strong support system, she managed to find a balance. It was never perfect, but it allowed her to succeed in her job while still being there for her family. In addition to her family responsibilities, Norah faced constant criticism and scrutiny as a public figure. In today's world, where everything is examined closely, every word she spoke and every decision she made was judged. Viewers had opinions about her reporting style, and critics often focused on her appearance or tone. Unlike her male colleagues, Norah had recounted how she faced judgment that had nothing to do with her skills. However, she stayed focused on her work, learned to accept useful feedback, and ignored the unnecessary negativity. At the same time, raising children in the public eye brought its own difficulties. She did not have the luxury of privacy like most parents. Every time she went out with her family, there was a risk of the media watching them. She made it a priority to protect her children from this pressure. She carefully chose what parts of her family life to share with the public and what to keep private. By doing this, she gave her children as normal a childhood as possible despite her fame. But beyond protecting her children, O'Donnell also had to protect her own well-being. With a career that demanded so much of her time, it would have been easy to burn out. However, she understood that taking care of herself was just as important as taking care of her family and her career. She spoke about the importance of setting boundaries, making time for things she enjoyed, and learning to step away from work when needed, whether it was taking vacations, reading, or simply having quiet family time. She made sure her life had more meaning than just work. Still, one of the hardest parts of being a public figure was dealing with online harassment. The internet is a powerful tool, but it also brings a lot of negativity. Like many women in journalism, Norah faced cruel comments and attacks online. These were not thoughtful criticisms. They were hateful messages meant to hurt and discourage her. Social media made it easy for people to hide behind their screens and say things they would never say in person. The emotional toll of this was real, but O'Donnell chose not to let the hate define her. She focused on her work and refused to give power to those who tried to bring her down. Meanwhile, the world of journalism was changing fast, which brought another challenge. The rise of digital media meant that reporters had to do more than just tell the news. They had to keep up with new technology, understand shifting audience habits, and deal with the spread of misinformation. For O'Donnell, adapting to these changes was not easy, but she embraced them. She stayed committed to honest, thoughtful reporting while finding new ways to connect with her audience. She understood that journalism had to change with the times.
The first times in my career, by anchoring CBS This Morning, that I'm at the same place for the most part.
But that its core mission, which is telling the truth, could never change. At the heart of all these challenges was her role as a representative of women in journalism. Being one of the few women in a high-profile position came with responsibility. She knew that her success was not just about her. It was about inspiring the next generation of female journalists. She was aware of the barriers that still existed and the importance of breaking them down. Through all these struggles, one thing about O'Donnell remained clear. No matter what she faced, she did not give up. Today, Norah inspires others through her reporting and her bravery in sharing her challenges. Outro. What do you think about Norah O'Donnell's health challenges and her career in journalism? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, click on the next video on your screen. You won't want to miss it.